Hey, Scott Jordan and Mark Warner here for the Thursday, October 22nd COVID update.
Hi,
Masking
everybody.
removed. Hey, how's it going out there, Mark? Or over there, wherever you are?
Yeah, here we are, socially distanced, but in the same building, and
Yep,
still following the rules of social of being socially proper,
yep,
socially distanced. And right now, Scott, I mean, well, everything on the news coming in today,
yeah,
last night on the news, all about the resurgence of COVID-19. And some time ago we were talking about optimism towards this maybe going away in
yeah,
several months, six
yep.
months, or whatever. It looks like we're headed into a major resurgence. So this may not be going away anytime soon.
Yeah, that, and then you also put in there the typical flu season is going to be coming at us as well. Boy, it's not good. It's not good at all. But there is some news about some new things coming, some new disinfectants maybe, but
You
let's
aren't
not.
talking about that magic wand kind of thing where.
Well, yeah, no, I believe it would be a qualification or verification of the magic wand. That's a good segue. So the EPA put out, and the ISSA just published an update on this as well, that the PA Administrator Andrew Wheeler announced his expedited pathway for companies to claim long-lasting efficacy for antiviral products. So very, very interesting stuff, and we talked about it before the show, before we started recording, and I think it's gonna do two things. Well, assuming actually it happens that somebody can get a product approved for these two different types, and we'll get into that. But I think it's also going to very well establish real products and products that have claims, but not the claims you think they are. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, so like real and less than real, I guess. Um, but yeah, we've been talking about this quite a bit over the last several COVID-19 updates, and there's an awful lot of um, maybe accidental, maybe deliberate misconceptions going on regarding uh, kill claims and what is actually going to help protect somebody from contracting COVID-19 from the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Yeah,
And what we've been seeing a lot is different types of extended kill claims that, in fact, are valid claims, but
yeah,
they're not valid claims on viruses that cause
right.
COVID.
Yeah,
They're valid claims on odor causing bacteria or um, even in some cases, some limited disease causing bacteria, but we're dealing with viruses.
yeah,
And cold, common flu is caused by a virus. We all have had those every year our entire lives. That's not what's worrying everybody right now.
yeah,
Right now, the big worry is the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes the COVID-19, which can cause death
yes,
to so
yep,
many. So that's the Scott. I am so happy to hear that the EPA is taking a hard, fresh look at trying to establish protocol that manufacturers will have to go through in order to prove that their product is what we call efficacious or
yeah.
effective for fighting SARS-CoV-2, and you have all the details on that, which
Yep,
is
yep. So
fascinating.
it's pretty simple. They're looking at two different types of products that they're going to be looking for testing to be able to establish whether or not they can be approved for. So the first one is all those products that we've been talking about for the last 5 months. The one that I went on the rant about Southwest Airlines and American, all those ones that say they had this residual claim. They're going to look at that first group and require that they get tested against two specific bacteria versus viruses. And Mark, you could explain that a little bit more for people afterwards. But so the initial one is they have to show that they are effective against Salmonella and Pseudomonas. So those two bacteria, which don't I mean, they're important bacteria, yes, but they're not in the category of COVID-2. So they have to establish that. And the testing protocol is pretty much the same for the second one as well as the first one. So the first one has to be tested against those two specific ones. And then they also, not only do they have to be tested against it, they also have to be able to withstand a abrasion test. So what they do is they essentially scrub, they have a test panel. They take a reading on it, and then they apply the product, and they abrade it. The test actually says it has to be 12 times. So they do it. They do a test. They abrade it. They re-inoculate it, which is how would we describe that, Mark? You cough on the surface.
Perhaps if for whatever organism that they're testing against is, they've got to reapply it to the surface.
So they got to do that.
It's actually doing it.
Yeah, they got to do that 12 times. So. And each time, then they test how long it's going to have this residual effect on it. So it's not an easy test by any stretch, that's for sure. So they got to do that 12 times. So then the second one is, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. If they get approval, that is not a standalone product. That is used in conjunction with a product that is currently on the N list. And we're all familiar with the N list, those of you who've been watching the videos, and hopefully you tuned in last week and saw that we now have a playlist with all, which will be 29 after today. But they still have to use the N list approved product, and then they can use this other product that has the residual thing. So that's slightly different than, you're still doing two products, which I'm not sure how effective that's going to be, how many people are going to want to do it. But the second one, though, is taking a disinfectant product that's on the N list, or coming up with a brand new one that would pass all the same criteria for the N list, that would then have similar residual effects, but in this case, against the same thing that we're concerned about, COVID-2 and the viruses. So, Mark, you want to give a fast description of the difference between why we're concerned about viruses versus bacteria?
I get asked that a lot, and there's a lot of confusion out there. People, for the fact that they really don't understand that they're very, very different. Bacteria is a living organism. It's a cell, it's got a nucleus, and so on. And you can kill something that's living. And what you do is you fracture the cell wall, and it destroys that cell. And in this case, we're talking about disease-causing bacteria.
Right.
Viruses are very, very different. Viruses are hard to describe as whether they're living or not living. They're really a speck of DNA, RNA that is trying to find its way into your body. It's like trying to kill a speck of dust. Can you kill a speck of dust? Yeah. So when you talk about viruses, you talk about the ability to inactivate a virus. In other words, you ruin its ability to attack your body.
Yeah.
So we kill bacteria. That might be done with, well, spears and spikes, oh my. But, when it comes to inactivating a virus, that's a completely different animal. It's the whole process is different. So what we're mostly worried about in the year 2020 is going after COVID-19, and that's going after this horrific virus.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of people out there that are even advertising products that make extended kill claims, and those are perhaps plenty valid for odor-causing bacteria, but they aren't making anybody safer.
Well, it's making your
terms
shoes
of protecting
safer.
them from
it's making your shoes safer because it's the odor-causing bacteria in your shoes, right?
This is true. Or protecting textiles from the development of mold and mildew and that kind of thing. But yes, you're actually making a somewhat safer environment, but you're not putting up a wall and protecting yourself from SARS-CoV-2 with those products. And that's really where the rubber meets the road here is, man, we need to be directly fighting SARS-CoV-2, eliminating COVID-19. And everything else that we're doing is less than as critical, I guess, less of a priority.
Yeah. So the good news on all this is at some point we will have these products do the step number one, which would be in addition to a disinfectant, you use something that has some effect on these two limited bacteria for some period of time. The current rules show that it's only the testing only has to show that it can be for 24 hours or less residual time, not 24 hours or more. So the best that you're going to get out of both of these products, when and if they get approved, is residual activity for 24 hours or less. And that's important. I think that's important too, because that also eliminates all these ones that some of them say 7 days, some of them say 20, a month. Some of them we've seen products that have claims up to 3 months. Yeah. So none of them are going to make that.
And keep in mind, just doing these tests, I'm really thrilled that they're doing such strict testing on these claims. But this is a 24-hour or less kill claim that's being tested for. And this is going to take months for there to be an outcome from all this testing. This isn't something that happens in a matter of, days or weeks or whatever. This could take 6 months or a year. I don't know. But when you start talking about 7 days, week-long, months, those products, I don't expect to see them for a very long time.
If at all. And by the way, my understanding, based on the ISSA email that just went out announcing this to the membership, is that it's currently open for discussion or comment for 60 days. So this isn't even the official thing yet. So they put it out there. This is what we want to do, and they're expecting the public, whoever, to comment on it, and then they'll make a final ruling that this is how it's going to do. So they aren't even going to start this for 60 days. They're just putting out this is what we're thinking about doing. We want feedback on it. And then after that, you're right, it could take who knows how long for products to actually be approved. In the case of the second product, where it's a disinfectant with residual claims against viruses, of which I don't think there's any products out there currently, or if they are, it's very limited. That's a brand new product, in my opinion. So to get a brand new product approved by EPA, it's different to make a label change on the existing product. That's relatively easy, other than the time it takes. But to get a brand new product approved typically takes years and a huge amount of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. One, what's going to happen during the 60-day period? I'm sure a bunch of people will be commenting about the test is too hard, or can we make it different? So the school's out on whether or not this is going to actually be the testing method. But yeah, it's not happening anytime soon.
And the other really big question is, as you and I know, there's only one product that has ever been approved for this stuff, and you can only use it in Texas.
We don't, and we still don't know what testing data they supplied to be able to get that whole deal that they got for that one airline in that one place in Texas. So this at least clarifies it a little bit.
Yeah, with the strict testing protocol that was just outlined, the question is, what happens if somebody's been out marketing a product to perform in a certain way and it ultimately doesn't meet those tests?
Yeah.
What then happens? Is it pulled from the market? Is there there's a lot of big questions that exist there. And I suspect sometime in the year 2021, as we're looking back and studying all the events that happened in the year 2020,
right.
It's going to open Pandora's box on reviewing some of the things that people were saying and doing. Yeah. And it's going to open up some questions as to whether their true motives were human health and safety, or was it something else?
Yeah. Well, hey, the good news, and by the way, we'll put links below this video on the page where we post them up for the EPA announcements, so you can read them as best you can. Hopefully, this video is giving you some clarity on that. But the really good news, Mark, let's not forget, in 2 weeks after the election, apparently the whole COVID thing is going to go away. It's just going to disappear. So this is all moot. And after 2 weeks, we probably won't have to do a COVID video update any longer. So have a nice life. See you next year. Is that a good way to end it?
It's kind of an amazing concept. I had a dream like that, but I don't think it was anywhere near the reality of what we're living with. But hey, everybody, stay safe out there, and thanks for tuning in. Keep in mind that we have our entire library of COVID-19 updates available now.
Yep.
So
on the playlist.
On the playlist. And,
okay, stay safe out there, everybody.
See you next time.
See ya.